Power and leverage in a relationship. The person with the most to lose has the least leverage. Intimate relationships and in business and career. Obviously, as a woman, you gave up your career for about 12 years to raise your kids. So in that, when you put yourself in that position, obviously from a leverage perspective, you're totally dependent on your husband. And the longer you're out of the workforce, and then when you want to try to re-enter the workforce, they're like, oh, wow, you haven't worked in 12 years.
Powerless.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was in a very vulnerable position. But that's what happens. Sometimes you have to put yourself in a vulnerable position when you trust somebody. It's a test, you know? And you don't know until you try. And not every venture you go into is going to be successful. There's a lot of failures along the way. You learn as you go. But you got to get out there and live and try it, you know? That one specific instant didn't work out for me. I didn't have any power, but I found my power in a crappy situation. I went out and got a job and got my power and
kind of climbed the stairs,
found
back
my way out, crawled my way out.
Got better jobs.
Slowly over time. It's a process. I started out making $9.50 an hour at the mall. You know, it was a slow, but you know, it's baby steps. It doesn't happen overnight. You can be happy or miserable. It's your choice, you know? And if you're making progress towards getting better, even if it's one baby step a day, it's still progress. At the end of the night, put your head on the pillow. You know, I did the best I could with what I had today, and tomorrow I'm going to do something else. And those little baby steps add up crazy. It doesn't feel like you're getting anywhere, but then you look back and go, wow, okay, I did it. I did that.
Success is making progress.
Yeah.
If you're making progress, you feel good. You feel better. You feel hopeful. You feel that someday or someday sooner, things are going to work out in your favor. Things are going to get better. You're going to have a breakthrough because you notice changes. Either your reserve of knowledge is growing, or the things that you're doing over and over, you're getting better at each time. You become more efficient. You get it done quicker. You get it done. You literally do it better. And as you become better, and especially as the years roll by, you're able to charge more for your services just because you're better than somebody that's maybe younger and doesn't have all the life experience and having gone through all kinds of failures that they haven't learned to manage their mindset right or how to overcome those things or figure solutions out.
Well, also, I've seen videos of men talk about how they're frustrated because women are a commodity and they're the commodity that men are after, mostly sexually, but that's frustrating for men because men see women as having the power, you know, the power of the pussy, you know, and that makes men angry. But that's leverage too. But I think that that's not actually how it looks through a man's eyes. I don't think that women see it that way. I think women do use their sexual prowess to get what they want sometimes, but I don't think that's a general blanket statement that you can say. But I do know that men do feel frustrated and they feel like they don't have leverage when it comes to sex and women.
That's what happens when you don't have the abundance mentality, when you don't have the attitude that if this person doesn't start treating me better and I decide to leave, that, you know, for me, what kept me in relationships when I was younger longer than I should have was the fear that what if the next girl's not as awesome as this one? What if the next girl's worse? What if I never find anybody that's as good to me as she is because she's the best I've had so far? And, you know, so that belief about yourself causes you from taking the risk
Fear.
And going after what you want. And then a lot of guys will break up and then move on. And, you know, 5-6 weeks, a month or two, maybe 3, they haven't found anybody better. And they hear that the ex has, you know, been on a few dates with a new guy and it's going well. And then they get scared and then they want to go back to where she was and she's still hurting and still feels for him because, you know, rejection breeds obsession. Since she was the one that was dumped and then he wants to come back, she's more open to rekindling things with him. But the reality is the guy didn't really, he gave up. He bitched out. He left because he wanted to go to greener pastures. And then obviously, like for me, breaking through that barrier fear, that doubt about myself, that eventually with enough time somebody better would come along. And then it's like each time you go through that, it's like gives you courage. You learn from every relationship that you go through, especially when you spend a lot of years together with somebody, and you get better. You know more what you like, what you want, what's a deal breaker, what's not. You discover who you are as a person and what's most important to you in life and relationships, and you're just constantly refining your approach and who you are and being more comfortable
in
like
yourself
yeah
and not needing the other person. And that's where what I think is interesting about power and leverage in a relationship is if you can be okay by yourself and confident and happy, and you don't need her, or you don't need sex, you don't need a relationship. If you can just find love, I know it sounds corny, love yourself, but if you can just find that confidence and that abundance mentality, and my life is full, I'm grateful, my life is abundant, I'm happy on my own, I don't need her or that, then that's more attractive. That's where your power is. You don't need the leverage. You're just so powerful in being safe and calm, unperturbable, and
well it's
that.
having the confidence that you could get someone better and
Mm-hmm.
continuing to take care of yourself and your body and like we were talking about earlier, remaining attractive not only to your current significant other but other, for a guy, other women noticing you, and your wife or your girlfriend noticing the other women are checking out her husband or her boyfriend.
That's
It,
powerful.
it,
That's attractive.
it makes her, because women like a guy more if they know he has lots of choices, lots of
Mm-hmm.
options, and or is popular with other women.
It's such an
Versus
easy fix. It's just an attitude fix, honestly.
well, it's a mental game with
Mm-hmm.
yourself. It's like I remember my girlfriend, the one that had the daughter, and when we finally got to a good place after about a year and a half where things like really clicked, and I kind of mastered the pursuing not too much but not backing off too much and being too much of a cold fish, and it was like that groove where things were effortless, and she was all over me, stuck to me like a sucker fish all the time, was in constant contact throughout the day. Stop, hey, I'm in your side of town, can I stop by? Stopping by and having a quick little nooner or blow
That's when
job in
it's
the
so good.
office, and
That's when it's good.
locking your door, muting the phone, and having a good time, and trying not to make too much noise when you're having
Mm-hmm.
sex in the office because you got people all around you, and it's just metal stud walls and some insulation there, but it's like the acoustical ceiling. The sound is going to carry, and everybody's going to hear it, and just doing fun things
Yeah.
like
Being
that.
playful and fun and enjoying.
But when you experience that, and then day after day, it becomes your reality. Day after day, you wake up naked in each other's arms every day, and you go shopping together. You hang out with friends and family together. You're doing stuff with the kids on the weekends, and going to the Christmas plays and things of that nature, and going on trips and traveling together, and just always being together. It's like you lose the fear.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, I remember I had the realization. It just felt like, man, the whole thing was a mind fuck. My belief that I didn't deserve it, just literally, you cause yourself to sabotage it and drive and chase and push the other person out of your life because you're constantly communicating you're not good enough, and eventually they're like, you're right, see you later.
They believe you.
Yep, you convince them.
Mm-hmm.
So you lose the fear that you can't do better, and then so therefore you feel really comfortable in your own skin, and then the more you have those experiences, the more it builds your confidence and your certainty, and that helps you stay committed to the things that you want, because you have an emotionally compelling vision and you believe in yourself, because now you got a track record, lots of days, weeks, months, and years with somebody amazing, or over the now at this point in my life, several decades of a lot of success, a lot of fun, a lot of love, and just lots of great times, lots of great memories. And those memories are what build your confidence. It's the successful repetitions and knowing you can do it. Yeah.
It's a
But
mindset.
you have to experience it though.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you can read about it and read my book and watch hundreds of videos and read a bunch of other books, but if you're not applying it, getting out there and experiencing it, and experiencing what you once used to fantasize about.
Mm-hmm.
And when there's months and years or decades where you just don't feel like you're getting what you deserve, but then you eventually do get it, and then that becomes your reality. It's like becomes your new set point. It's your
Mm-hmm.
new standard, and that becomes the minimum from everything going forward. When you have a relationship with a woman who's a great communicator,
You raise the bar.
and then yeah, then you come across somebody who's beautiful and amazing and a lot of fun. The sex is great, but she just sucks at communicating. And as much as you try, she can't get better, and she's your own worst enemy. And you're used to the high bar.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, I know what it's like when it's better and when it's effortless, and that because you had it before,
Mm-hmm.
you're not willing to step down or lower the bar to be with this person if they can't come up to your level. And so it gives you the strength to push forward and to go out into the unknown and trust that eventually, as you continue to become more of the kind of person you want to attract, that eventually that again somebody else will show up and you'll have that effortless connection.
Mm-hmm. I agree 100%. And I changed my attitude after I started working with you. After my divorce, I was feeling not sorry for myself, but I was kind of down because it's a really hard thing to go through. But you taught me that each of those relationships is a gift, and you learn from it and you move on, and you carry the memories and all the good stuff. So it's not a failure. It's like that was a success, and now I'm going to have another success. It's just like if you look at it that way, as life is a string of successes, they're not necessarily always going to work out. There's no guarantees in
It's
life.
like the big whale client you're expecting to land, and it's going to change your life
Yeah.
financially, and then it doesn't happen, and then you think, wow, I'm never going to get another one of those. And then eventually another one comes along, and then you end up landing that
Yeah.
account, and then you have a life-changing income or revenue from that.
Mhm.
And then they introduce you to other people that are similar, and then
Mhm.
things get really interesting.
Yeah, it's a chain of events, and you learn from each one too. So you're still growing. You don't have to look at it in such a negative light. You can just keep going and looking. As long as you have that abundance mindset and the positive attitude, instead of, oh man, I can't ever get anything right. You know, there's no guarantees. You got to try always.